Before we get started with Shirley, it's important that when we talk about the A class that we remind our young instructors that the focus of this class is the performers themselves. Your job as creators and technicians is to display the abilities of the performers in a clever and interesting way to let their efforts reach the audience and ultimately the judges. Your creative choices should be guided by the performer's potential. It was decided some years ago that this class would focus more on the training and development of the performers, and that the writing choices would be looked at relative to the training required to support the successfully achieved written choice. The score sheets are skewed toward excellence and achievement, and the guards that are successful in this class will be strategic in their writing and creative efforts. These efforts will be guided again by the abilities for quick success of the performers. Building your repertoire over time and including choreography from your field show and even past Winter Guard seasons is very common, as these young instructors consider this emphasis on excellence. As an instructor, you'll serve as much as coach as you do designer, choreographer, and director. In this class, it's a real common pitfall or trap that the staff efforts are misdirected and ultimately time wasted as young instructors make the mistake of writing for their egos and not for the performers. In instructor talk, we would ask, by looking at your group, not how well can you write, but more importantly, how well can you teach?
Lafayette High School scored 82.2 at finals in Dayton. Their program, Satura, was absolutely stunning. Very, very beautiful theme, an Asian theme. The whole production value was just excellent. And it provided them with an opportunity, A, to be very significant and detailed in the characteristics, the personality of the performers. It allowed them to be a memorable program. You'll notice as you view this program that it has a good sense of motion, good use of the stage, good layering. For the most part, very smart writing. A lot of the equipment and body moves are not necessarily difficult, but they are appropriate and they allow the students to achieve. How you layer is significant in terms of the look and the variety and range that you're establishing. Doesn't have to be complex in this class, but it certainly does work when it's layered well. A few open class moments set this color guard up for good success.
Performing their program, Sakura. Is the guard ready? Lafayette High School, you may take the floor for competition.
The production value is clear and apparent in this program as it unfolds. The floor, the soundtrack, the costuming, the makeup, the entire look of the program begins to unfold clearly and effectively at the very beginning. Strong moment for the saber as she creates the first effect through that effort. Ladies demonstrate a beginning of establishing a broad range of movement vocabulary, and even at this point in time, their expressive effort qualities are clear in terms of strength, in terms of flow, in terms of development, and successful saber moment. Clarity in terms of staging works to their advantage and allows this saber moment to come through with good clarity and good achievement. The use of motion, always an asset, always a plus, keeps the visual interest stimulated. Characteristics are still maintained throughout as the ladies develop into the next element of this program. Excellent introduction of the balance of the weapon moment. Flags backstage create a good, strong emphasis, and the coordination between the elements of silk, saber, and motion working really well to their advantage. Musicality is a dominant success throughout, and flag excellence certainly works to their advantage in terms of creating effect. It's impressive to see that the movement qualities, the effort qualities, the dynamics are so apparent, and the consistency of training from student to student is very strong. While the staging does not necessarily explore complex options, nonetheless it is always correct. Visual balance is maintained, use of the floor in terms of integration of one element to another, variety in terms of the groupings of three create a visual interest that stimulates the eye and maintains the visual interest to the audience. Demonstration of that saber aerial worked pretty successfully. An introduction of the parasols creates yet another layer of identity for the program and the character of the program, allows the color guard to manipulate yet another piece of equipment and demonstrate their movement skills while doing so. Development into the center with the size and the depth of the parasols brings strong emphasis to the saber soloist, who does an absolutely superb job for them. The grounding of the parasols is a successful choice that brings dimension to the look of the floor, creates a variety in terms of how the guard interacts in and around them, takes some of the people away to clear the stage. An effective choice that works successfully. Choreographically and stagingly, the soloists well placed. They certainly did define the strengths and characters of these people with good success. Color guard displays an excellent understanding of their identity, of their role, of their characteristics. Flag entrance backstage works successfully. The stage is clear and draws the eye successfully to that as they build into their ensemble statement. Reminder now of their movement strengths, which is certainly there. The balance in this color guard is impressive. Strength at a movement level, strength at an equipment level, strength at a character and personality and design level, and very strong musically. Certainly does work to their benefit. It's the totality of all those components that lend toward making a program successful. Flags are beautiful in their design and definitely support the look of the program concept. Musicality comes through successfully for them in this ensemble flag statement. Good dimensionality in terms of the flag riding. Successful aerial gives a nice subtle effect toward the latter part of the program. Entrance of the large parasol at the end is a tasty touch to punctuate what's building into the resolution of this design. Color guard maintains its characteristics, maintains its identity. Motion takes them into a lovely presentation here as they move across the stage. And the introduction of the fans, a nice final punctuation. A program that had totality at all level, an equal and compatible development of movement, of equipment, of musicality, of expressive effort qualities, and of identities. A good standard whereby you can measure and develop your own program.
Let's remind ourselves that most of the A-class performers will come from high school band programs. The ages are generally between 14 and 18, with some exceptions, particularly in the independents. Because many of these performers and instructors in this class are in similar points in their development, you'll see that just as it is with young readers, these groups' vocabularies will be very similar. More of the differences will be in adherence to style, in training, and the compositional abilities of the designer. Creative energy in this class is usually placed in problem solving and creating the identity through character, setting, and context. You'll see that the word clever will be the ultimate goal as opposed to development and invention, as choreographic resources in this class are usually more limited. Because this class reflects the young instructor as well as the young performer, we'll also see that strengths and weaknesses within each group can be extreme. It's common to see groups strong in equipment but weak in the support of movement, and vice versa. Many times you'll see a split in strengths from upstairs to down. This split in strengths and weaknesses from caption to caption is one of the characteristics of this class, more so than the opens and worlds. For many groups, this will be reflected in the ordinals and create what may appear to the layman or the young instructor to be a confusing recap. Part of our challenge is to educate through the system. Your role as teacher in this class will be tested in some of these cases. In the A's, we also start to see a bit of a difference between the scholastics and the independents in terms of physical development. With stronger legs and more developed upper body strength, we'll also see a little bit more choreographic opportunity afforded to some of the independent groups as their performer base matures. You'll still see similarities in the development from a training and performance maturity aspect, and it's these aspects that keep the performers in this group in the A class. Also with the independents, you'll see that as they mature, that they have a tendency to grow into their programs a little bit faster than the scholastics. We know that not all color guards progress at the same rate. But in many of the Independence cases, you'll see a more rapid progression as training and physicality start to meet potential as they get through the initial weeks of the season and more of their individual light bulbs go on. All right, hope this has helped. You ready?